Step back into the high-energy, gritty world of Roadhouse 1989, the iconic action film that made Patrick Swayze a legend and left audiences cheering for every fistfight and barroom showdown. But what happened to the rest of the unforgettable cast, from the charming yet mysterious Dalton to the ruthless villains and memorable supporting characters? These actors brought unforgettable energy to the screen. Fast forward to 2025. Where are they now? How did their careers evolve? And what surprises did life have in store? Join us as we explore the astonishing journeys, personal stories, and current lives of the stars who made Roadhouse a cult classic. You won't believe some of the transformations. Patrick Swayze, born on August 18, 1952, in Houston, Texas, was 37 when he assumed the role of James Dalton in Roadhouse in 1989, portraying a philosophical, stoic bouncer whose calm exterior masked a lethal martial arts expertise and a code of ethics that set him apart from the lawless violence surrounding him. Dalton's character became an icon of controlled strength and understated charisma, captivating audiences with his mix of zen-like calm and explosive power. Yet Swayze's own life behind the cameras bore shadows that often went unnoticed. He grew up in a strict household where achievement was demanded and emotion suppressed, leading him to develop a perfectionist streak that sometimes manifested as impatience or harshness toward colleagues. Swayze faced repeated rejection early in his career from ballet companies to minor film roles, which fostered a simmering anxiety about failure, compounded by financial struggles that threatened to derail his ambitions before he ever achieved stardom. Despite cultivating a public image of the charming, disciplined performer, he struggled privately with alcoholism and bouts of depression, and friends later revealed that he could be controlling and difficult on set when he felt his creative input was disregarded. Romantic relationships were similarly turbulent, including rumored affairs and periods of tension with his wife that he carefully shielded from the public eye. The actor also faced profound personal losses. The death of his mother, close friends, and extended family members left deep emotional scars that fueled his intensity and sometimes perfectionistic tendencies. His most crushing professional frustration came when he was passed over for high-profile roles in major films, despite critical acclaim, a recurring source of private bitterness. Swayze passed away on September 14, 2009, at the age of 57, after a protracted battle with pancreatic cancer, leaving behind a net worth estimated at $40 million, including royalties from his iconic films, real estate holdings, and earnings from his dance and music ventures. Red West-born Robert Gene. West, on March 8, 1936, in Memphis, Tennessee, was 53 when he took on the role of Red Webster in Roadhouse, embodying the principled, hard-working auto parts store owner who symbolized the resilience of small-town America under the threat of criminal intimidation. West's character radiated honesty, loyalty, and toughness, a perfect counterpoint to the corruption and menace of Brad Wesley, and resonated with audiences as a touchstone of integrity. West's own life mirrored that intensity, but was fraught with personal controversy and darker undertones. Raised in a working-class family with financial and emotional instability, he developed a toughness and assertiveness that defined both his personal and professional identity. He became a close confidant and bodyguard to Elvis Presley, living amid fame, excess, and secrecy, and was later fired a betrayal that fueled resentment and led him to co-author the explosive tell-all book Elvis, What Happened, which caused a rift with many in Presley's circle and attracted public backlash. Professionally, West built a career as a stuntman and actor known for his rugged reliability, but also for being blunt, uncompromising, and occasionally abrasive, leading to conflicts with directors and fellow actors. His personal life included multiple marriages and affairs, some ending contentiously. and he faced ongoing tension in maintaining close family relationships due to his demanding and sometimes intimidating personality. Health challenges and professional disappointments in later life compounded these struggles, yet he remained engaged in acting and stunt work well into his senior years. West passed away on July 18, 2017, at the age of 81, from an aortic aneurysm, leaving behind an estate valued around $2 million, consisting of property and royalties from decades of entertainment work. His life was a portrait of complexity, a man capable of loyalty and courage, yet equally capable of controversy, scandal, and the moral ambiguities of fame, whose real story of resilience, betrayal, and uncompromising honesty often eclipsed the straightforward heroism of the characters he played on screen. Ben Gazzara, born on August 28, 1930 in New York City, was 59 when he portrayed Brad Wesley in Roadhouse, the menacing yet charismatic antagonist whose sly manipulation and ruthless control made him one of the film's most chilling villains. Wesley's combination of charm, menace, and subtle brutality made audiences simultaneously fascinated and repelled, a duality that mirrored Gazzara's own complex personality. He grew up in a poor Italian-American family, enduring economic hardship and social prejudice that fueled a fierce determination to succeed and a deep mistrust of authority. Gazzara's career was prolific, but often turbulent. While admired for his naturalistic, intense acting style, he earned a reputation for clashes with directors, co-stars, and studio executives, and was sometimes accused of being temperamental or inflexible on set. His pursuit of challenging, unconventional roles frequently kept him at the margins of mainstream stardom, and he occasionally faced professional setbacks when producers deemed him difficult or too independent-minded. His personal life was equally complicated. Gazzara reportedly had a string of tumultuous relationships, some ending publicly and others quietly, causing strain with friends and family, though he carefully maintained a dignified public persona. He also experienced profound personal tragedies, including the deaths of close family members and mentors, which left him grappling with loss while trying to maintain his artistic momentum. Despite a lack of major public scandals, his private life and career reveal a man constantly negotiating between creative ambition, personal demons, and the pressures of an industry that both celebrated and constrained him. Gazzara died on February 3, 2012, at the age of 81 from pancreatic cancer, leaving behind a substantial legacy in film, television, and theater, with an estate likely valued at several $1 million from decades of work royalties and property. His life reflects a delicate balance between brilliance and personal struggle, a career of intense artistry shadowed by a private world of grief, ambition, and occasional professional turbulence that few fully glimpsed. Terry Funk, born June 30, 1944 in Hammond, Indiana, was 45 when he played Morgan, the volatile bouncer in Roadhouse, a role perfectly aligned with his reputation as a fearless and unpredictable professional wrestler. Funk's character radiated menace and physicality, embodying a raw, almost anarchic energy that thrilled audiences, but his personal journey behind the scenes was even more tempestuous. Born into a working-class Midwestern family, Funk's early life was marked by economic insecurity and frequent relocations, leaving him both physically tough and emotionally resilient, but prone to bouts of anger and impulsiveness. His wrestling career spanned over 5 decades, pioneering hardcore wrestling, but it came with notable personal costs, repeated injuries, backstage conflicts, and a string of brief retirements and comebacks fueled by both passion and financial necessity. Funk was notorious for a volatile temper, sometimes clashing with promoters, fellow wrestlers, and even family members, and insiders occasionally whispered about excesses with alcohol and painkillers to cope with the physical toll of his profession. Despite the chaos, Funk maintained a reputation for generosity and mentorship, helping younger wrestlers navigate the brutal realities of the sport. His personal life mirrored his professional intensity, a series of marriages and relationships fraught with difficulty, including disputes over custody and finances, and estrangements from certain family members at times. Funk passed away on August 23, 2023, at age 79 in Amarillo, Texas, leaving behind an estate estimated at around $1 million composed of wrestling memorabilia property and income from acting and promotions. The man who thrilled arenas with near-mythical endurance and unflinching aggression lived a life that balanced spectacle with private struggle, earning respect, while constantly negotiating the costs of fame, physical sacrifice, and the personal demons that accompanied a career defined by risk adrenaline and uncompromising dedication to his craft. Sunshine Parker, born Lloyd Olin Parker on June 10, 1927, in Lawn, Texas, was 62 when he took on the role of Emmett in 1989. Emmett, the kindly, slow-talking landlord of the Double Deuce, was the moral anchor in a rowdy world of bar brawls and violence, and Parker's performance exuded a quiet, homespun wisdom that endeared him instantly to audiences. Behind the gentle, almost grandfatherly on-screen persona, Parker's life had a rugged, overlooked complexity. He grew up in a poor Texan family during the Great Depression, where work was scarce, and he often went hungry while watching siblings receive favoritism. Mocked for his lanky, awkward frame, he learned early to hide his feelings behind a wry smile and deferential humor. His path to Hollywood was anything but smooth. He spent decades drifting between small-town jobs and minor theater productions, often being rejected for speaking roles because of his drawl or perceived lack of charisma. Industry insiders whispered that Parker could be stubborn on set, holding grudges against producers who didn't cast him, and he occasionally quarreled with fellow character actors over billing and credit. Despite this, he was known for his unshakable professionalism, showing up on time, and deeply immersing himself in his roles, traits that earned him steady work, but never financial reward. Parker's personal life was quiet, but not without strain. He never married, and friends reported a lonely, almost monastic existence, punctuated by small joys such as fishing trips or evenings playing guitar alone. Health became a major challenge in his later years, culminating in his death from pneumonia on February 17, 1999, in Burbank, California, aged 71. At the time of his death, his estate was modest, likely under $100, mostly from residuals and savings from decades of small but memorable roles. Though he avoided public scandal, Parker's life was defined by the quiet sacrifices and unnoticed toil of a career devoted entirely to the craft of character acting, leaving a legacy more sentimental than financial, but indelibly stamped on audiences who found in him the soul of everyday, gentle humanity. Kelly Lynch was born on January 31, 1959, in Golden Valley, Minnesota, and was 30 when she took on the role of Dr. Elizabeth Doc Clay in Roadhouse, the composed, intelligent, and resilient physician who became the emotional anchor of Dalton's chaotic world. Lynch's character exuded intelligence, independence, and moral courage, qualities that won audience admiration and cemented her as a grounding force amid the film's violence. In reality, Lynch's upbringing was riddled with challenges. Her family faced financial hardships and interpersonal strife, leaving her to navigate early adolescence with little emotional support, often feeling the sting of comparison and ridicule from peers. These formative experiences contributed to her fierce determination and meticulous self-presentation traits that served her well in Hollywood, yet occasionally provoked tension on set as she demanded professionalism and resisted compromising her standards. Early career setbacks included repeated auditions that ended in rejection and minor television roles that provided neither recognition nor stability, fostering periods of insecurity and private frustration. Though public accounts depict Lynch as scandal-free, insiders recall episodes of intense private conflict, occasional rivalries with co-stars, and a perfectionist streak that sometimes alienated collaborators. Her personal life was carefully guarded, punctuated by the pressures of maintaining relationships within an industry notorious for transient attachments. She experienced a series of turbulent romantic entanglements before marrying writer-producer Mitch Glazer in 1992, with whom she raised a daughter. Despite these challenges at 66, Lynch achieved financial and professional stability through high-profile films, selective television projects, and residual income with a net worth estimated at $20 million, including real estate and investments. Her ability to navigate the treacherous intersection of fame, personal ambition, and private struggle demonstrates a blend of resilience, calculated discretion, and understated strategic intelligence that allowed her to thrive where others faltered. Marshall R. Teague was born on April 16, 1953, in Newport, Tennessee, stepping into the role of Jimmy Reno in Roadhouse in 1989 at the age of 36. His character was a cold-blooded enforcer, merciless and loyal to the film's villain, Brad Wesley, serving as the ultimate physical threat in the narrative's escalating violence. Audiences were captivated by Reno's brutal efficiency, the calculated menace in every fight scene, and his unwavering devotion to chaos, making him a memorable antagonist despite limited screen time. Teague's own upbringing was far from serene. Born into a working-class family with a father who struggled with alcoholism and a mother whose mental health was fragile, he endured a childhood marked by poverty, neglect, and early confrontations with violence that shaped his fearless persona. Professionally, Teague's career has been a mixture of perseverance and near misses. Trained in martial arts and with a Navy background, he often faced typecasting as a tough guy, which limited his range, and he was reportedly passed over for major Hollywood action roles due to his intimidating reputation and off-screen abrasiveness. Personal life presented its own challenges. Brief marriages and complicated relationships, along with intense focus on physical training, left him isolated from extended family connections. Despite these hurdles, Teague maintained a reputation for professionalism on set and avoided major public scandals, building a steady but unflashy career across television and film, including Babylon 5, Walker, Texas Ranger, and Armageddon. Now 72, he continues to work selectively in the industry, living modestly with investments in real estate and martial arts schools, his estimated net worth between $1 to $2 million. Teague's story is a blend of disciplined skill shadowed by childhood trauma and professional marginalization, producing a figure who commands respect both on-screen and off a man whose personal battles remain largely hidden behind his cinematic presence. Sam Elliott was born on August 9, 1944, in Sacramento, California, and was 44 when he portrayed Wade Garrett in Roadhouse, the seasoned, battle-hardened mentor whose stoicism, wry humor, and commanding presence made him an unforgettable figure in the film. Wade's character exuded authority, loyalty, and a subtle emotional depth, leaving audiences with a lasting impression of the archetypal Western hero transplanted into modern chaos. Elliott's personal history, however, was shaped by early instability. Raised in a household marked by a distant father and a mother whose emotional reserve fostered a sense of displacement, he developed a deep self-reliance and an almost obsessive discipline that later became hallmarks of both his craft and his personality. His career trajectory was not without setbacks. Elliott often found himself typecast as the rugged, gravel-voiced supporting actor leading to periods of frustration and near obscurity that he countered with relentless dedication to honing his craft. Reports from industry insiders hint at occasional clashes with directors over creative vision and a reputation for intimidating co-stars, fueled by his intense presence and uncompromising standards. Personally, Elliott faced the challenge of navigating Hollywood relationships while maintaining a semblance of privacy, ultimately finding stability in his marriage to actress Catherine Ross in 1984, though protecting his private life remained a constant concern. Health concerns, occasional smoking, and the mental burden of sustaining a career in a competitive environment added layers of complexity to his life. Yet Elliott successfully balanced these pressures with financial and professional prudence. As of 2025, at 81, his net worth is estimated at $10 million, reflecting income from acting royalties and real estate, while his life on a Malibu ranch epitomizes a carefully curated equilibrium between public persona and private sanctuary. Beneath the rugged charm lies a story of perseverance, calculated discipline, and the quiet management of vulnerabilities that could have otherwise derailed both his career and personal life. Julie Michaels was born on July 20, 1970, in Washington, D.C., and at 19 she made her striking debut in Roadhouse as Denise, the alluring rebellious companion to villain Brad Wesley. On screen, Denise embodied a provocative mix of sexuality and danger, using her charm as both distraction and leverage, leaving audiences entranced by her combination of beauty and subtle cunning. Michaels's early life was not devoid of challenges. Raised by a single mother struggling with financial instability, she faced early judgment and mockery for her ambition and petite stature, often feeling overlooked in academic and social circles, which fueled a determination to excel in the physically demanding entertainment industry. She rapidly transitioned into stunt work, training rigorously and facing hazardous conditions that left her with minor injuries and chronic stress, but earning her respect among Hollywood stunt performers. Off-screen, Michaels navigated personal challenges, including a demanding marriage to stunt coordinator Pee Wee Piemonte, whose career sometimes kept them separated, and raising 2 children in the intense environment of Hollywood. Though she has avoided public scandal industry, insiders note her fierce advocacy for women in action roles, often confronting sexism and risking professional alienation. Her greatest career frustration reportedly came when denied a leading stunt coordinator position on a major blockbuster despite her Emmy nomination, a rejection that tested her resilience and nearly forced a career pivot. At 55, Michaels continues to work in stunt coordination and production, balancing family life with her career, her net worth estimated at around $3 million. Her narrative blends glamour, grit, and discipline, revealing a woman who transformed early adversity and marginalization into a sustained, respected presence behind the cameras of Hollywood action. John Doe was born on February 25, 1953, in Decatur, Illinois, and took on the role of Pat McGurn in Roadhouse 1989 at the age of 36, stepping into a world of cinematic grit and barroom chaos that perfectly mirrored some of the darker edges of his own life. McGurn, the sleazy and unpredictable nephew of Brad Wesley, is written as a man whose moral compass has long since eroded, and Doe channeled his punk rock roots as co-founder of the band X to give the character an authentic edge, an undercurrent of raw, restless energy that made McGurn both repellent and compelling. His childhood was marked by significant turmoil, raised in a family where alcoholism and financial instability were constants. He was subjected to frequent ridicule and emotional neglect, forcing him to develop a sharp, defensive wit and a tendency to hide vulnerability behind artistic or performative bravado. Professionally, Doe has always pursued work that challenges him creatively. But that uncompromising streak occasionally led to clashes with directors and producers. Instances of being passed over for roles and projects derailed by his insistence on exacting standards. His biggest professional setback came when a critically anticipated indie film, which he had heavily invested in both emotionally and creatively, collapsed during production due to creative disputes, resulting in a hiatus from high-profile roles. His personal life has similarly been tumultuous. Multiple short-lived marriages, publicized affairs, and long-standing estrangements from some family members painted a picture of a man intensely committed to his art, but often at the cost of intimacy and stability. As of 2025, Doe is 72 years old, living a semi-reclusive life while continuing selective work in film and music. His net worth is estimated at $2 million derived from music royalties, film residuals, and a carefully maintained portfolio of intellectual property and modest real estate, representing a career that balanced creative integrity with the harsh realities of financial survival in the entertainment industry. Kevin Teague was born on August 13, 1944, in Los Angeles, California, and entered Roadhouse in 1989 at 45 years old as Frank Tilghman, the beleaguered but determined owner of the Double Deuce Bar. Tilghman's character exuded weary pragmatism and quiet resilience, serving as the moral center amidst the film's physical chaos, allowing audiences to invest emotionally in his struggle to maintain order and dignity. Tighe's own upbringing was complicated by an emotionally distant household where parental expectations and family conflicts instilled a deep-seated sense of responsibility, but also recurring self-doubt, which he channeled into nuanced performances. Professionally, Tighe's path was marked by both achievement and moments of professional frustration. His early fame from Emergency created typecasting that limited his range, and he was often overlooked for high-profile roles in favor of younger, flashier actors, causing temporary financial instability and lingering resentment. Personal life brought additional turbulence, including a divorce and periods of estrangement from his children, alongside the pressures of balancing a demanding acting career with family obligations. Health struggles in later years, including heart-related issues, compounded the sense of vulnerability in his life narrative. Though he remained committed to mentoring younger actors and supporting causes related to emergency services. Now 81 and retired from active acting, Tighe lives quietly, his work primarily in legacy appearances and occasional interviews, his net worth estimated between $100,000 and $1 million. Despite the modest financial accumulation, his influence and reputation are enduring, particularly in television history, marking him as a figure whose career reflects both the triumphs and fragilities of a life lived in the public eye, underpinned by dedication, skill, and an understated moral compass. Kathleen Wilhoite, born June 29, 1964, in Santa Barbara, California, embodied the character of Carrie Ann in Roadhouse 1989 at the age of 25, a role that allowed her to bring her multifaceted talents as an actress and musician into a film otherwise dominated by aggressive, testosterone-laden performances. Carrie Ann, the quirky, warm-hearted waitress and singer, provided much-needed levity and emotional depth, and Wilhoite imbued her with a blend of sensual charm, intelligence, and streetwise cunning that resonated with audiences and created a memorable counterbalance to the film's violence. Her early life was marked by emotional complexity and familial instability, growing up in a household often fractured by economic pressures and interpersonal tensions, which left her developing early emotional resilience and a heightened perceptiveness that would later become hallmarks of her performances. Wilhoite's career has been punctuated by notable professional triumphs, as well as intense behind-the-scenes struggles. She has clashed with directors and producers over creative control, occasionally walked off sets due to disputes over artistic vision, and been labeled intense by colleagues for her insistence on authentic, emotionally raw portrayals. Her most significant professional disappointment occurred when she was attached to a major studio film that ultimately recast her role at the last minute, a public professional humiliation that tested her resolve but ultimately reinforced her determination to select projects on her own terms. In her personal life, she has navigated a series of complicated relationships, including high-profile romances and periods of public scrutiny, as well as the emotional strain of watching friends and mentors suffer premature deaths events, which she has said influenced her artistic choices and her personal philosophies. Today, at 61 years old, Wilhoite continues to act, sing, and lend her voice to animation and other media, maintaining an estimated net worth of $3 million, accrued through decades of diverse performances, music royalties, and smart management of her career, allowing her to sustain both financial independence and artistic freedom, while navigating the continuing pressures of Hollywood and the long shadow of a complicated youth. Travis McKenna, born July 18, 1960 in Lutherville, Maryland, portrayed Jack, one of the bouncers at the Double Deuce in Roadhouse 1989, at the age of 29, delivering a performance that combined imposing physicality with gentle humor, turning a character that could have been one-dimensional into a memorable, endearing presence. Jack's combination of brute strength and surprisingly tender comedic timing resonated with audiences, making him a key element of the film's barroom ecosystem. McKenna's childhood was shaped by a transient upbringing marked by financial scarcity and familial instability, which forced him to develop early self-reliance and a cautious, watchful personality traits that informed both his personal life and his professional choices. His career has been defined by steady work in stunt coordination and character acting, including notable roles in films like Batman Returns and Van Wilder. Yet, he faced continual professional challenges, injuries on set, disputes over the handling of dangerous stunts, and occasional frustrations with directors over risk and realism, all of which occasionally stalled projects and limited career momentum. McKenna's personal life has mirrored these professional pressures with intermittent relationships, periods of solitude, and the weight of personal loss, including the deaths of mentors and longtime colleagues, shaping his outlook and choices. Despite a relatively low public profile and absence of tabloid scandal, the combination of on-set dangers, personal losses, and the physical demands of his work has created a career marked as much by resilience as by achievement. Now, 65 years old, he continues to work selectively in stunts and character acting, maintaining an estimated net worth of around $500,000, derived from decades of consistent employment, physical risk, and careful management of his residual earnings, reflecting a life where professional perseverance and personal tenacity have allowed him to carve out a niche in an industry that often favors headline-grabbing drama over steady craftsmanship. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic journey through classic television history. If you enjoyed learning about the cast of Roadhouse 1989 and where they are now, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more vintage Hollywood retrospectives, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your memories and suggestions, so let us know which TV show or movie cast you'd like us to feature next.